Welcome back to the channel. I want to show you how to use false color to get that predator vision look that you've been seeing in the Fox Predator movie. So I was hunting around for some tutorial ideas.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
I came across false color here. So if we search up false color, I'm going to drop it onto the node here. And by default, it kind of does this highlights like a Blackmagic style camera, showing you some of the values and gives you a graph. But then you can go plug-in mode and go to creative. And now we have color bands under creative style. So we have jet, an exposure guide. We have night vision, which I'll show you a cool thing to do with that later. We have thermal view and color temperature. And you can dial around some of these parameters and change like a blur level, things like that. So moving on from this shot, once I looked at this, I kind of was like, this reminds me of Predator. I wonder if we could recreate that look with this plugin. So I brought in some Predator shots, as you can see. And this one is actually a regular shot, but I wanted to make it look like this red helicopter interior, which we have here. So I'll show you how I did that. So here's default again, and I grabbed a still. So if we play back our still here, this still. So the picture on the left is the shot right here, clip number 8. So we have that. And how I got the red look here is I went to the custom curves and I delinked our YRGB. Normally these are linked up. I delinked them. I went to red and gave it a little bit of emphasis in the bottom here. And I basically dropped our green all the way down and dropped the blue all the way down. And then moved our gain, gamma, and a little bit of lift over to give it more of this red look. So that's how I got that shot to go. Then I was trying Magic Mask and a few other things. Here's what the Predator vision looks like. It is just sort of this heat signature, pretty blurry with the heat source just showing up with colors. And there's another shot later on with a skull here, and you can see it's got a bunch of scan lines going on, I guess because it's more of a close-up shot. I was like, all right, I want to try to duplicate that. So I went back here, did it by stacking the shots right here. Here's the version I made. So it's got some scan lines, and I had to overlay not only the scan lines, but a second version of this shot to get it to work right. So let me deactivate these layers, and we'll go to clip 1. Literally, I just copied this to the layer above, which you can select and hold Option and drag it. So I made a duplicate copy with no changes. On the bottom layer here, you can see we have this blue color. So I applied false color here on the node, went to night vision. So I'll go ahead and reset everything back and show you what I did. So here's default drag and drop. Plugin mode, I went to creative. Creative style, I went to night vision, and that gives us this sort of army night vision sort of look. I disabled the scale and values, and then down here on the pickers, I just opened them up and shifted them over to blue. So you can see the top value kind of really only gets the highlight on his shoulder here, and the majority is this green right here. So I made this sort of like a cool blue, just eyeballing it, whatever looked decent for sort of the Predator cool night vision. And then under pre-processing, I just elevated the blur because the Predator's vision's pretty blurry. And then you can move the black and the white. There's a black level, a white level, kind of give you some of that heat signature look. And then there's a gamma too, if you want to dial that in. So that's layer 1. So I'm going to go back and enable layer 2. And on this one, I ended up using the Magic Mask to isolate the two characters from the background. For some reason, it's not showing me the composite until I moved back over to the edit page. So on this clip, I essentially just used Magic Mask, did a swipe on both the characters and a negative over here in the background, added the alpha output, connected that up here. And then to get the colors we wanted, this is also under thermal. And I don't know if I moved any of these around, but as you can see, I did blur it out. And this was to give it more of that orange and red and the blue. So now if we go back over, we have this look, which now has that blue background that we did on layer 1. And then these two in the foreground, you can see there's a little bit of video noise on the cutout We could refine that more with the magic mask if we wanted to. Under here, just do a little denoise, kind of softens the edge of the hair here. And I also didn't track this through the shot, it's just a single frame, but you could track it. And then to get scan lines, back on the edit page, under toolbox, under my favorites, I just have an adjustment clip as a favorite, but you could look it up under toolbox, under the magnifying glass, grab an adjustment clip, put that on top, and then back to the color page with that clip, I just looked up scan lines and dropped that on. So now we have the scan lines plugin enabled here. If we go to settings, I forget what it looks like by default. It's got kind of bigger lines, and I think I just made them a little sharper, kind of give that 80s TV look, and then brought the overlay down just to kind of split the difference. And that gives you this final look where we've got sort of the predator vision, the cool blue background, and the scan lines. So that's the basics of that with the thermal vision, which I thought worked out pretty well. Then I tried it on one more shot here, and this time I did 2 nodes in a parallel fashion. So if we disable both of these, this is what the shot looked like to begin with. I added a node here and brought in the false color again under jet, and I took it down to 3 bands. You can add more bands, and as you can see, it adds more colors, and you can dial them in by adjusting your processing and your gamma and all that. This one I just took it down to 3, something like this, and then blurred it so we could have that blurry background. And since this is a parallel node, it's going to wait to combine both of these until it hits this mixer right here. So on the second node, I added the same thing, but did more emphasis on the more of the heat signature look. And same thing, blurred up and brought the global blend down. So if it's all the way down, we just get that blue. So I kind of dialed it in. It didn't end up looking quite like I wanted it. I think we could probably adjust the hue of the reds and stuff a little bit. It was kind of getting more purple. This might be maybe a gamma thing. Yeah, you can adjust gamma a little. And then add those scan lines. That's essentially it for that tool. I didn't realize you could use those different visions. The thermal and the night vision are pretty neat, and I could probably think about using those in the future. But if you ever wanted to try that predator look, that's how you can use false color to sort of replicate that look. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.